Imagine winning your freedom, your very humanity, through blood, fire, and revolution. Then, imagine your former enslavers sailing back to your shores, not with soldiers of war, but with accountants of empire, and handing you a bill. A bill for the very freedom you just won. This isn't fiction. This is the story of Haiti, the revolution that defied the world and the debt that shackled a nation for over a century. This is the price of freedom. In the late 1700s, the island colony of Saint-Domingue, what we now know as Haiti, was the single most profitable colony on Earth. It was the jewel in the French imperial crown, churning out more sugar and coffee than all the British Caribbean islands combined. But this immense wealth was built on a foundation of unimaginable cruelty. Nearly 500,000 enslaved Africans were forced to labor under some of the most brutal conditions in human history. Their lives sacrificed to sweeten Europe's coffee and line the pockets of an empire. The system was designed for maximum profit, and it was as inhuman as it was efficient. But on a hot August night in 1791, the system broke. Drums echoed through the hills, a signal of rebellion that would ignite the largest and most successful slave revolt in history. Across the northern plains, enslaved people rose up, demanding their freedom. Over the next 13 years, this uprising transformed into a disciplined revolutionary war. Charismatic leaders emerged from the ranks of the enslaved, most famously, the brilliant military strategist, Toussaint. He forged an army that outmaneuvered the great European powers of the day, defeating Spanish, British, and even French forces sent to crush their rebellion. After Louverture's capture and death in a French prison, the fight for absolute independence was carried on by his lieutenant, King Jacques Dessalines. On January 1st, 1804, Dessalines declared Haiti an independent nation. This was a seismic event. It was the world's first Black Republic, born from a successful slave revolution. It was a beacon of hope for the enslaved everywhere, and a terrifying symbol of defiance to slaveholding empires across the globe. But France, the cradle of liberty, equality, and fraternity, could not accept this. For 2 decades, Paris refused to recognize Haitian independence, isolating the new nation politically and economically. Then, in the summer of 1825, the threat became explicit. King Charles X dispatched a fleet of 14 warships to the coast of Haiti. The message was clear: pay an indemnity of 150 million francs to compensate former French slaveholders for their lost property, including the formerly enslaved people themselves, or face à full-scale invasion, and the restoration of slavery. Faced with an impossible choice between economic subjugation and a war they could not afford to fight again, Haiti's leaders agreed to the terms. According to contemporary records, the pressure was immense. The demand was a staggering sum, more than 10 times Haiti's entire government revenue for that year. To make the first payment, the Haitian government was forced to take out a loan not from a neutral party, but from French banks. This created a vicious cycle of debt, money that should have gone toward building schools, hospitals, roads, and a new nation's economy was instead funneled directly back to France. For over 100 years, the people of Haiti paid this price. The initial 150 million francs was later reduced, but the payments continued for decades, officially ending around 1947. Historians estimate that, with interest, the total cost bled Haiti of billions in today's dollars. This crippling burden, known as the double debt of the indemnity itself, plus the loans to pay it, fundamentally distorted Haiti's development. It choked off public investment, fueled political instability, and entrenched poverty for generations. It ensured that even in freedom, Haiti remained economically dependent on its former colonial master. Of course, this debt is not the sole cause of Haiti's modern challenges. A history of foreign intervention, including a nearly 2-decade-long American occupation, corrupt leadership, and devastating natural disasters like the 2010 earthquake have all played a role. But historians overwhelmingly agree that the indemnity created a foundation of profound economic vulnerability. When catastrophe struck, the state was too weak, too poor, and too fragile to cope effectively. The legacy of that 1825 ultimatum is written into the very fabric of modern Haiti. In recent years, the calls for justice have grown louder. Economists, historians, and activists are demanding that France acknowledge the profound harm caused by this extortion and make reparations. In 2003, Haiti's government formally requested that France repay the indemnity, a sum they calculated at over $21 billion. Paris has consistently rejected these demands. The debate continues, forcing a global conversation about colonial history, economic justice, and the true meaning of repair. And can a nation ever truly be free when its independence begins with a bill from its oppressor? Thank you for watching. If this history matters to you, please subscribe and share this story.